What's up, everybody? You're now tuning into the In Love with Horror podcast. We are your hosts. I'm AJ.
And I'm Kristie. Join us for a love affair with all things horror as we explore the world of horror films, games, and everything in between.
All right, y'all. We got another great episode for y'all today. We're going to be going over, of course, what we watched this week and then diving into all the new trailers that came out this week. We mentioned that film Slotherhouse in the last podcast when we talked about the trailer that dropped this week, along with some other interesting ones. For news this week, we got some great topics, including some info on Saw 10's runtime and a remake of a classic, iconic horror film. And then we're going to dive into the main topic for this podcast, which is going to be a good one. So you got to stick around for the entire podcast. We're going to be talking about, is Blumhouse quality on our downward trend? All right, y'all, all that and more coming up on the In Love with Horror podcast. All right, y'all. Now, before we get started, we did want to kind of talk about some sad news here, and that's that unfortunately, the actor Paul Rubens, is that right? Rubens, he passed away this week. So I want to take a moment to remember Paul Rubens, who we came to know best as the character Pee Wee Herman. I'm sure y'all all remember him from your childhood if you're as old as we are. But he recently lost his battle with cancer. So I just want to say thank you for all that Paul Rubens has contributed to film and all the memories that he's brought. You know, children from all over the world, even people who maybe not grew up with him, but I've gone back and gone through the catalog, and he's also done a lot of things outside of just Pee Wee Herman. So I would encourage you to go through and look through his filmography, because he's even done some stuff that's like slightly related to horror as well. And I think you told me
Yeah, he
there's a
was in
couple.
the original Buffy the Vampire Slayer movie. And I told you I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows, and
Yep,
he did a cameo in one of those episodes as well. So
yep. So just a quick little moment of silence to remember Paul Rubens. All right, y'all. And again, make sure y'all go check out his filmography outside of just the character Pee Wee Herman. Seriously, like, dude was a
he's a great entertainer.
talented entertainer. He's an absolute legend. We definitely thank him for all he's done for us and all he contributed to cinema. All right, y'all. So before we dive into the new trailers this week, we always like to talk about what we watched this week. And we both kind of wanted to talk about one film we watched together, and that was the film Host, which was directed by Rob Savage. It's a film that was created during the pandemic, where you had a group of friends who, they all hop on Zoom, and oh yeah, here's the I was gonna tell y'all like my rundown synopsis, but Chrissy was highlighting for me the actual synopsis. Let me read that for y'all. Six friends hire a medium to hold a seance via Zoom during the lockdown, but they get far more than they bargained for as things quickly go wrong. When an evil spirit starts invading their homes, they begin to realize they might not survive the night. And this was cool because it came out during the pandemic where people were locked in and they were using Zoom and FaceTime and all that stuff to actually socialize. So we unfortunately we didn't get a chance to watch it during the pandemic, but it was still cool to see a film that kind of represents that era and time. And it also reminded me of films like Unfriended, and Unfriended Dark Web, and also like Searching and Missing, who also use that that computer screen only formula, and when it's done right, like, it's super good. And I gotta tell y'all that I know for me, I thought Host was incredible. What do you think, Beth?
Yeah, I definitely felt it was a really, really good movie. Definitely surprised me because I didn't really like the first Unfriended, and so I was kind of thinking it was going to be somewhere in the same vein of that. But I was pleasantly surprised. This movie was so good. The scares were very creative
Mhm.
and crafted really, really well. The actresses, they all did, and Teddy, they all did a really good job. Um, so I got to give Rob Savage his props on that one. That one was done really, really well because we both knew that he directed the Boogeyman, and so we were
Yep.
like surprised, like what happened? But
Right.
he
Yep.
did a really good job with this one.
Yeah, yeah. This to know that this came from the same director that did Boogeyman, I was like, wow, that's crazy because this is like 1,000 times better.
Yeah.
It's not a long horror film. I think it only
Mm-mm.
run the
About an
runtime's like
hour.
around an hour. It's a
Yeah.
very tight movie, but it delivers. And like once it starts, like
It just goes.
that thing goes and it zooms. And the scares are really good. And there's
Mm.
also some good comedic moments in the beginning that
Yeah.
feel genuine.
Yeah.
That what really helps sell movies like this are the fact of like if the characters feel relatable and authentic and genuine, like it helps sell the rest of the movie as like this is a believable thing that could actually happen.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of could actually happen, what was really cool is at the end of this movie, um,
Oh yeah.
they cut to like a kind of almost like a after credits thing where I guess the all of the film crew, well, not all of them, but quite a bit of the
Like the
actors and
directors.
director, uh, they sat down on Zoom and did like an actual seance, like
Yeah.
real life for real.
Right, with a real medium.
Yeah, and it kind of seemed like I got the impression we weren't able to confirm this, but we got the impression that they did this before filming, and a lot of what happened in the film was based off of this
Right.
experience because we
Yeah.
saw the similarities and was like, oh, okay, so
They
they're
must have crafted it after
yeah.
that.
After doing an
Mhm.
actual one, it's like, okay, let's build the horror movie off of this.
Yeah.
So that was a really cool idea.
Yeah. I guess
Um,
that made it even more authentic and
right.
genuine. Yeah. They did a good job with that.
Oh yeah, yeah. They did a fantastic job with it. Super creative all around.
Yeah.
Even the end credits, like initial end credits,
Oh
was very
yeah.
creative. How it showed like your friends list on Zoom, and it was like that's was the credits, and they listed the director, the stunt coordinators,
Yeah.
the actors. Like that was dope. But all around hosts, like incredible performances, great special effects for what I assume
Oh
is a
yeah.
very limited budget.
Super good.
It was super good. The scares were good, the build up, the intensity, and man, like the even just the the conclusion, like the
Yeah.
climax, the conclusion of this film, like it was an incredible payoff. Like it felt so satisfying. And once this film ended, like
Yeah.
I was like, damn, that is a good movie.
It was.
And it was crazy because this movie's got a 99%
Yeah.
on Rotten Tomatoes.
99.
And so like you go into a movie like that, like okay, this movie must be really
Right.
good.
And it
And
was.
it was incredible, y'all. So if
Yeah.
you've never seen,
Go check it
yeah,
out.
if you've never seen Host, like you gotta watch it. I hate that
So
we
good.
even waited this long to watch it, but
Yeah.
one thing I did want to mention, y'all, is that we did actually record our reaction to this film, so that'll be coming up at a later date. We got a
Yeah.
date for it right now, but make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube and all of our social channels because we'll definitely let y'all know and notify y'all once that reaction goes up on YouTube. But with that, that's what we watched this week, and now we're jumping to the new trailers this week. Starting off with a trailer for a film called "Haunting of the Queen Mary." Now, "Haunting of the Queen Mary" is a film. The synopsis reads: explores the mysterious and violent events surrounding one family's voyage on Halloween night in 1938, and then their interwoven destiny with another family on board the infamous ocean liner present day. Wait, what?
In present day.
Oh, in present day. Oh, okay. Uh, so this film is directed by Gary Shore. Gary Shore did Dracula Untold, and it's written by Gary Shore and Tom Vaughn. It looks like they did a film called Winchester. I'm not familiar with that. The film stars Alice Eve, Nell Hudson, and Joel Fry, and it will get a limited theater release and be on video on demand on August 18th.
Mhm.
Um, Now, I'll say, like, I actually thought the movie looks really good. I think the trailer could have been a little bit better, but I think what I was able to kind of piece together from the trailer, I was like, oh, this actually looks pretty decent. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was um it gave me like ghost ship vibes.
Mhm.
And like, cause you kind of I got the impression that these people were on this, ship nowadays. And then they start seeing maybe ghosts from the past,
Right.
and you start to kind of unravel the story of what happened on the boat previously. So that's why I said it reminds me of Ghost Ship, because that's basically what Ghost Ship is about almost.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone said it's very much like The Shining, but when we talked about Ghost Ship, when we did our top um, horror movies, Ghost Ship was
Mhm.
on my list, and I mentioned that. And you said that it kind of reminds you of The Shining. So I guess that makes sense, because I feel like you even said the Ghost Ship was sort of like The Shining as well.
Mhm.
Um, but to me, it's very much like the Ghost Ship movie. They just named it something else, and it's got a lady and her child on there versus a bunch of grown people trying to make money.
Yeah, no, you're right. It is very similar to, Ghost Ship,
Yeah.
and, uh, I think all around, like, I think I was impressed by the visuals, like, the
Yeah.
cinematography,
Yeah.
the effects look pretty good. Like, I think it might actually be, like, a decent film, even though it's getting a limited release going to straight to video on demand. I think this movie looks like it actually has some potential.
Hmm.
And it's always good when you got a horror movie that's got, all the players in a tight space and they're trapped in
True.
a tight space. That always
Yeah.
makes it interesting and fun. But yeah, Haunting of the Queen Mary, y'all. I think this one definitely it's got some potential. Be on the lookout for that on August 18th. Now moving on to the next film, we finally got the trailer for the film Slotherhouse. Now, if you remember, we talked about Slotherhouse on the last podcast where we got that teaser poster. But this week we actually got the official trailer. Now, the synopsis for Slaughterhouse reads: Emily Young, a senior, wants to be elected as her sorority's president. She adopts a cute sloth, thinking it could become the new mascot and help her win until a string of fatalities implicates the sloth as the main suspect in the murders. This film is directed by Matthew Goodhue and is written by Bradley Fowler and Caddy Lanigan. The film stars Lisa Amba Levinar, sorry, Stefan Kapachik, and Sidney Craven. And it is exclusively in theaters as a limited release on August 30th.
Hmm.
Now, I thought the concept for this film sounded really good.
Yeah.
Like, it, uh, it had that like horror comedy
Hmm.
aspect to it that uh, made it have that potential of like bad, but in a good way. That's the
Yeah.
kind of vibe I was getting from the whole concept of this.
Hmm.
Just a super cheesy, campy,
Right.
slasher movie with just a ridiculous antagonist.
Yeah.
Uh, Now the trailer, unfortunately, was very short, and I feel like it didn't really give us very much. I was hoping we'd kind of get like at least a slight glimpse into some very gruesome kills or something like that. But I don't know. The trailer to me didn't really do much of anything for me. Like, what about for you?
I think it basically just give you a visual representation of the premise. It's like, because really all you get in the trailer is you see the girl, obviously, at her sorority house. You see there she's acquiring a sloth,
Yep.
and then you see people getting killed. Kind of, it's kind of like someone getting pulled out of a room or something like that. I can't
Right.
say exactly, but yeah, you don't really like get like any bloodiness or anything that like that. It's very like PG.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I thought about Cocaine Bear when I heard about
Oh
this
yeah.
movie, because it
That's
seems
actually a
like
good
such a
one.
wild thing, right?
Yeah.
Um, of a sloth killing people. We said this last time. And actually, social media has been eating this thing up, like
Oh really?
making like jokes about it. Like they
Hmm.
like stuff like um, oh, this movie is gonna be slow to drop or something like that. Or, like making jokes about slowness and stuff like that.
Oh,
And
like okay,
yeah,
those kind of jokes.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
But people are actually interested in watching this movie, and I am too, because I don't know, it's just so wild. Like it's such a wild thing to think about.
Mhm.
Like a sloth murdering people. I don't know. It's just so wild that you just kind of want to see it. Then the sloth itself in the trailer, it looked kind of weird.
It looked very much like a puppet.
Like a puppet or like a
I think it worked
stuffed
though.
animal.
I think it looked goofy, but like in a good way. That's what I
know.
thought.
I was kind of hoping it would look different. I don't know, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out what it reminds me of, but I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Anyways, I still want to watch it.
Yeah, no, I want to watch it too. I think I'm definitely gonna give it a chance because I really do want to see like I do want to see some sloth kills and just see how that works because they are naturally slow.
Yeah.
So I know I'm sure it's gonna be very goofy in that aspect. So I do want to see that comedy aspect of it. I think the thing for me is gonna be how well they can balance the horror comedy aspect of this.
Yeah.
That's gonna be the make or break for me with this
And I was
film.
like, really? Because in the trailer they kind of like show like the sloth he's been killing people before.
Yep.
Kind of not the fact that this creature was doing this, but it kind of reminds me of how like because it's cute, like the dad in the Gremlins movie, how he got Gizmo because it was cute.
Yep.
So it's like she just got this animal because it's cute, and she doesn't know really much anything about it.
Yep.
I just thought that was funny.
No, it very much is kind of like a Gremlins for sure. But yeah, y'all, Slotherhouse. That's coming out on August 30th. If you watch the trailer, let us know what you think about it in the comments. Because I think we both still want to see this film.
Yeah.
But I don't know, the trailer just didn't work for y'all, for us. Let us know if the trailer worked for you. But I do want to see like another trailer before we get the official drop for this thing. We decide if we want to go out and see it. All right, y'all. So the next trailer that we got is for a film called Bad Things. And the synopsis for Bad Things reads: a group of friends go to a hotel for a weekend getaway and soon discover that women do bad things here. It's written and directed by Stuart Thorndike. Stuart also directed Lyle and was an actress in Eyes Wide Shut. It stars, the film stars Gail Rankin, Hari Neff, and Annabelle Dexter-Jones. It will be on Shudder and AMC Plus on August 18th. Now, for me, I thought the trailer was a little bit confusing.
Yeah, it was. It definitely didn't give you a whole lot to go off of. It kind of gave you like a quirky, I don't know. It was just a really weird vibe. I don't know how they really put it into words, but it's just like this girl. She acquires a hotel, and it seems to be haunted, but there's like these random women there. It's like all women in this movie, except for one man that was in the trailer.
Yep.
And he was only in there for like a few seconds. And it seems like she might be murdering people or doing something because there's one part in the trailer where she has like blood in her hair, and she keeps saying that she does bad things. I don't know. I'm really confused as well. But the director of this film, apparently, she directed Lyle. I've never seen this movie, but it's like a really well like a really well reviewed movie.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Lyle either.
Apparently, like even the actress in that movie got like an Oscar or something. But anyways, it was a really good movie. So this is her sophomore film, but that movie came out like 2014. So it's been a long time since she's directed something.
Okay.
But yeah, so it's from what I read, it's very much like like a woman's rage portrayed in this film. So I don't know what to expect exactly, but the trailer does seem a little bit confusing, like I said. But yeah, maybe they'll get another trailer
and expand,
or but I don't know, maybe not because it comes out August 18th.
Yeah, so that might be all we get, and it's like you gotta come see it to get the full picture. But
it is a Shudder original.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I feel like Shudder movies have been really good lately. So for that reason alone, I would say check it out.
Yeah. I would say lately Shudder has been doing okay with their films. Not bad at all. And they've been pumping them out too.
They have, actually.
Shudder's originals have been dropping.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's on August 18th, y'all. So definitely add that to your list if you're interested in checking out bad things. Now, the next film that we got a new trailer for is for a film called Chad Gets the Axe. Now, the synopsis for this film reads: four social media influencers live streamed their trip to Devil's Manor, the former home to a satanic cult. The film is adapted from a short of the same name. It is written and directed by Travis Bible and stars Michael Bonini, Brandon Doyle, Tanisha Figueroa, and Cameron Batosh. And it releases on September 1st on video on demand and digital.
I will definitely be getting this movie.
Yeah, and because we just recently watched Deadstream,
Yeah.
and we really like that one.
Love that movie.
And this film has a very similar vibe to it, even down to like the chat being on the screen.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So this film, I think, out of all the trailers that we got this week in terms like actual trailers,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think this one got me the most hype. I was like, okay, this actually looks really good.
Yeah.
I feel like the scares and the effects, that's gonna have some good build up, and then hopefully like Deadstream, it'll have like some actual like
scary
legit
stuff,
legit scary stuff, but some good comedy too.
Oh yeah, right.
Because the Deadstream comedy was actually like pretty spot on.
It was
like the comments
really funny.
Yep.
And like I told you when we watched it, I think they balanced the comedy and the horror very, very well. So with this one, hopefully they do that. Or they could possibly go the other way and have comedy turned up way too high and the horror down way too low.
Yep.
But the trailer looked really good. Like I said, I was like, oh, this is just like Deadstream, except it's a group of people versus one person, which I think could be potentially even better.
Yeah.
Because you have, those multiple dynamics involved.
Well, I think now that just means like people might get picked off. Like when you ever get a group of people, it's like, okay, like
people
somebody might actually get killed, like someone might actually get picked off. But the cool thing about the groups too is like typically they'll feed off each other's fear and like it kind of enhances the overall terror of everything.
Right.
So
I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I think this one will be a really fun and hopefully scary film. Again, that's called Chad Gets the Axe, and that's coming on September 1st on video on demand and digital purchase. Now, the last trailer that we got, which is really just a featurette, is for the upcoming film, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. That's coming to theaters on August 11th. This is an extremely exciting one, y'all, because this is
so excited about this.
Yep.
Movie.
So this film is actually the film that's based off of a single chapter in Bram Stoker's Dracula, and it's when a ship called the Demeter is transporting. I forgot like what countries they're moving from into.
Carpathia to London.
There we go. And little do they know, they got some additional cargo on board, known as Dracula.
Yeah.
And it's this tight space horror film where Dracula's just hunting all the crew and all the passengers, and it looks really good.
Yeah.
And this featurette, I think, is maybe even more excited for it. How did you feel after watching the featurette?
Yeah, it made me way more excited.
Yeah.
Last time we watched the trailer, the second trailer last week, I think it was. We talked about just how much more. No, there was clips. They had clips.
Oh
last
yeah,
week.
clips. Yep. Mm-hmm.
How much more you could see the fear, and they brought that up in the featurette. Because I guess that's what the director was trying to, convey, right?
Right.
Like just how scary this situation was for these people on this ship. And I really liked seeing the creature in this, like actual
we
Dracula.
got a lot of creature action.
Yes, like the face features, the massive wingspan of his wings. But it made me way more excited to see this for sure. But I just really want to see matchup people.
Yeah, he's gonna be tearing him out the box, like, cause he actually looks super scary.
Except for the dog, I was like, oh Lord, I hope he don't kill the dog.
Yeah,
because there's a dog on there.
Well, yeah, because he killed something else. He killed another animal. It was like a goat. Yeah, so
I was like, oh Lord,
animals are not off limits, y'all.
And it's such a pretty black black dog too.
He will suck the blood of anything. Now, one thing that was really cool with this, I want to make sure that I get the name right here. Where is the director on here? It's directed by Andre Overdahl. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong,
Mhm.
but he has a segment in this featurette where he talks about the film being essentially like the film Alien. I was like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
cool comparison.
Yeah, he did.
Because basically, he was saying, with the original Alien film, you got like, all the players trapped
Mhm.
in this tiny ship, and the aliens just kind of, stalking them, pick people
Yep.
off. You have moments of very light levity where they try to like plan stuff out, and then just kind of unravels from there as you learn more about uh,
Mhm.
the creature and to get to the ultimate conclusion. But I was like, oh man, so basically like a Dracula alien film, like that could
Yeah.
be fire. So that comment alone got me very excited
Yeah.
for the potential for this movie, and that's one that we will definitely be going to see,
Yeah.
next week, and we'll definitely do a review on that on next week's podcast. But yeah, y'all, the last voyage of the Demeter coming next week, August 11th. Get hyped for that one. Can't wait
It's
to watch that in the
Demeter.
theaters. What did I say?
Demeter.
Oh, Demeter, Demeter. I mean, hey, look, we watched multiple videos.
We did.
It's pronounced a lot of different ways.
Yeah, people say different things.
But yeah, either way, we're gonna check this one out and then do a review on that. But
Yes.
what did y'all think about this featurette? What do you think about the trailers? How excited are you
Yes.
to watch the last voyage, the Demeter? With that, y'all, that actually wraps up our trailer section for this week. Now we're gonna jump into all the good horror news that dropped this week. All right, y'all. For the first piece of news, we actually got information about Saw 10's runtime, and surprise, it will be the longest in the franchise. Now they didn't give us the specific runtime, but to give you a reference point, the longest film in the franchise is actually the third Saw film, which clocks in at 1 hour and 48 minutes. So we're looking potentially at a 2 hour Saw film, which is very exciting. Now, is this the director?
Director.
Yep. Now the director, I'm gonna butcher this. Rutert, Rutert.
That's
Uh,
how I would say it.
yeah, I
So
don't know. I'm
Rooter.
sorry, y'all. I'm probably messing that up. But the director was quoted saying, and I quote, "There's so much more to this film than even the amazing amount that was there. I can say it's the most epic, and this might sound scary, but I think it's the longest Saw movie. We don't waste. When we're editing a Saw movie, we do not waste time. So the fact that it's long, I think, is a testament to just how well done it is." And he's got a good point. I mean, for the most part, Saw films are pretty tight. Like
Yeah.
they're pretty to the point. So I would imagine that when they were in the editing,
Gotta keep that. Keep that.
yeah, when they were editing this thing, they were like, "Oh yeah, this is all like pivotal
Yeah.
stuff. Like we got to keep all the stuff. Like it works. The pace is good. It flows good." So runtime doesn't necessarily mean something's going to be good,
Yeah, true.
but I definitely think that it makes you think. It gets you a little bit more excited and more intrigued to be like, okay,
Definitely more.
like if this is the longest one, like we might
Have some
have
good stuff.
we might have some good stuff. Like we might have a lot of story, a lot of character development.
Yeah.
Like we might have some decent shit here. So
Yeah.
but yeah, y'all Saw 10 runtime be the longest. Let us know what y'all think about that in the comments because that's kind of interesting and that makes me more excited. All right, y'all. So the next piece of news that we got actually about Six Flags over at Magic Mountain, and that is the Los Angeles, California Six Flags location. Now, at that location's Fright Fest, they're actually going to have a Conjuring and Saw 10 maze, which is like super, super crazy and like
Yeah.
pretty cool.
It is.
Now, to give you some additional information on those mazes, starting with the Conjuring maze, in the Conjuring maze, guests will be transported to the secluded farmhouse of the Perrin family, which has been terrorized and plagued by sinister spirits.
That
Uh,
sounds really fun.
yeah, that's gonna be cool. Having that
But
actual
scary at the
house.
same time.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be terrifying. But having that house, I'm sure it will be set up in a very similar way to the
Mhm.
films, and you'll be walking through it and seeing, the possession and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like that's
That's gonna be so good.
gonna be cool. And then for Saw 10, the Saw 10 maze, we'll have guests experience the return of Jigsaw as they attempt to survive his ingenious and terrifying traps in the untold story of his most personal game yet.
And this is kind of funny too, because like, um, with Halloween Horror Nights having, the Believer they're gonna have the Believer house before the movie comes out.
Yep.
And this um event is gonna have their Saw 10 made before that movie comes out. So,
Yep.
it's like kind of giving away stuff before the movies come.
Yeah, and that is an interesting point because you do wonder, like, okay, the movie's
Yeah,
not out yet, so how much you're actually gonna put in
I
here?
know. Because I mean, that one says that they're gonna be traps from the movie. Well, it doesn't say from the movie, but obviously it's gonna be from the movie because it says
Hmm.
which is about the movie.
Yep.
So then we giving away the traps.
Yeah, because I know they mentioned that they haven't shown all the traps yet
Yes.
in the trailers and stuff. There's
Right.
still traps you haven't seen that are, from what they're saying, are even better than
Yeah.
what's in the trailer.
I know. So, and then I know when I did a TikTok about the Halloween Horror Nights, a lot of people said, "Oh, well, I want to go after the movie comes out."
I would too.
So, right. So I would wonder how that might affect, because most of these are starting in early September.
You're saying
And like, I wonder how
like
that would
the
affect
crowds.
right. They might be
Yeah.
also like, I don't want to be spoiled. I might wait to go after it in October. Like,
Yep.
I don't know how smart a move that,
Yeah. Yeah. That could affect crowds, which could affect wait times.
Yeah. Well, I know everyone is not like us when it comes to movies.
And they
Some
might
people
not,
are not won't care.
and they might not put anything spoilery in there. They might not put anything that clearly defines like the conclusion
Oh
of
yeah.
the movie.
Well, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
They could
That's
make.
just a very interesting, I think. Because I don't think I've seen
I can't remember
Yeah.
about the houses coming
I
out
don't
before
think
the movie.
right.
Now, for those of you that might want to go to Six Flags Magic Mountain's Fright Fest, it will return for 30 nights, which is actually the longest it's ever done it. And it starts on September 8th, and it goes all the way through October 31st. So you got plenty of time to go check out the Fright Fest over at Six Flags Magic Mountain over in Los Angeles, California. So you can walk through the Conjuring and Saw 10 maze, which is super dope. All right, y'all. So the next piece of news that we got is actually about a remake. You always hear a lot about remakes, requels, all that stuff. So this is actually a remake for The Bride of Frankenstein, and it's coming to Netflix. Now, this remake for Bride of Frankenstein will be directed by Maggie Gyllenhaal, who directed The Lost Daughter and was also an actress in movies such as The Dark Knight, Secretary, Monster House, and a slew of other movies. And this will actually be the second film that she directed. Do you know? Oh, yeah, The Lost Daughter was the first one. And again, this is a remake of the 1935 film, which was the sequel to Frankenstein. Now, no other details as of now in regards to this film, but it will star Christian Bale and Peter Sarsgaard. Really? Wow. That's actually huge.
And that's what they said too. When I read the different articles about it, like, it's going to be a big one. And I'm actually excited about this because I don't think The Bride of Frankenstein that I know, unless it's like on a smaller scale.
Yeah, I bet you they exist.
But I like Maggie Gyllenhaal. I'm not really familiar with The Lost Daughter, but I like her actress. And obviously, act.
Right.
So I'm very interested in seeing what she story. I don't know. I'm kind of looking kind of interested. I hate that it's a Netflix film. I don't know. And no shade to Netflix, but
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when you got like Christian Bale and Peter Sarsgaard in there, I'm like, oh damn, like they bringing some heavyweights.
yeah.
So
Well, obviously, I love Christian Bale. He's an actor.
right.
I'm interested in seeing what character, as well as Peter Sarsgaard.
Yeah. Yeah.
And who they'll get to be the bride.
That's gonna be the big one.
Yeah.
So they haven't revealed, revealed that detail yet. I think that'll be definitely the make or break here. But Netflix, they're pretty hit or miss too with their original movies. So I'm gonna hold out hope that this is one of the good ones. But it is crazy. Again, all these revisits, all these remakes, it's wild.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say Christian Bale and Pale Blue Eye.
Mhm.
It's a Netflix movie. And I love that movie. That was a really good movie.
Yeah, I know you said you liked that. I still haven't seen that one yet, but I know you said you liked that one.
Yeah, so I don't know. It might be good. It might be good, y'all.
Yeah, but again, The Bride of Frankenstein, I don't even think we got a date on this yet.
No, nothing.
So just put that in the back,
In the back of your mind.
Yep, note that in the back of your mind that this remake is coming.
You do know that she is Jake Gyllenhaal's.
I mean, I saw the last name,
Okay,
but
yeah.
I wasn't sure what the relation was. But
yeah.
that's super
They're
cool when
blood, like, full brother and sister.
it's always cool to me when you got when you got these very talented filmmakers, actors, performers, or whatever, and then they have siblings or
cool.
spouses
Like
or children or whoever who follow in their footsteps. Like that's so dope. But yeah, also I wonder what they're gonna remake next. So y'all listen in the comments what y'all think they're gonna go after next because they're gonna remake everything.
Yeah, it seems like that's what's gonna happen now.
Yeah, they're gonna remake everything, yo. All right, y'all, moving on to the next piece of news. This is all about Scream 7 and how it's got a new director in Christopher Landon.
Yes.
Now, Radio Silence, which is comprised of Matt Bettinelli Open and Tyler Gillette, they directed the first two movies of the latest, the latest Scream trilogy with 5 and 6. But they're going to be working on a new project for Universal. So you have Christopher Landon stepping in to direct Scream 7. Now, if you're not familiar with Christopher Landon, he directed Happy Death Day, Happy Death Day 2, Freaky, and it's all Blumhouse movies, of course. And We Have a Ghost on Netflix. Now, Radio Silence said they still are going to be executive producing on Scream 7, so they have limited involvement.
Yeah.
Currently, there's no script due to the strikes, so production won't be starting anytime soon. Now, I know neither of us have watched Scream 6 yet, so I can't really comment on like how that ended and how that'll flow into Scream 7. But I'd imagine I haven't seen Scream 6 yet, but I imagine the concept, because all the other Screams were the exact same in terms of like how it played
the formula.
out. Yeah. So unless they switch it up, Scream 6, I'd imagine Scream 7 is going to be the same. I liked Happy Death Day. I don't think I've seen Happy Death Day 2 or Freaky. Now I know that you watched We Have a Ghost. And you said you didn't like that one.
Not at all. I thought it was super cheap.
Yeah.
But again, he was directing this, so it could have just been the writing on there. It was I just
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely heard mixed things on this one for Netflix. So I think this news really depends on how much you like Landon's work. If you're a big fan of all those films that I mentioned, and I'm sure you're probably jumping.
Well, I did like Happy
for
Death
joy.
Day. I think we did watch Happy Death Day to you.
I can't remember.
I feel like we did. I don't know, but I know we did watch Happy Death Day, and I like those.
Yeah, and I know people like Freaky too. I know that reviewed very well. I know people really like that film too. So,
well, that's why I said I think maybe the We Have a Ghost was just the writing.
Yeah, and like I said, like we just talked about, the Netflix can be hit or miss, and I think this might just be one of those ones.
That was a miss for me, sure.
But yeah, like I said, we got to watch Scream 6. We got to get caught up on it. Let's see if we will be even remotely excited for Scream 7. It's crazy they're on the 7th one.
Crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah, remember when the first one came out?
Yeah, that is crazy. But yeah, y'all, let us know how excited y'all are for Christopher Landon stepping in to direct Scream 7. Now, the last set of news that we got is kind of a sad piece of news here, and that's that the sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife has been delayed. Now, of course, this is due to the strikes that are going on currently, because there's a bunch of movies that got delayed. And of course, we here on our podcast, we focus on the horror ones. But a slew of movies got pushed back. And unfortunately, the sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife was one of the victims of that. It was originally slated to come out this December, but now it got pushed all the way to March 29th, 2024. That's a pretty decent size move.
Yeah. I will say that they're supposed to be sitting down on Friday.
Yep.
So hopefully we can get some balls rolling back on some things if they can come to some sort of agreement. I really hope they do. Hopefully these studios finally realize the importance of paying their writers and actors
what they need to pay them. You need to pay them.
So that they can get back to work because they've been been out of work for a long time.
Oh wow. Yep.
So I want them to get back to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully they can get
And I think the
things.
key thing here is that, everyone that's involved in making a film, from the writing all the way up to,
Yeah,
the post processing, all that stuff.
all
Like
of it. Yeah,
everyone plays a pivotal role,
exactly.
so everyone should get paid.
Right.
You
Not
know,
just
a
that, but
fair
also
wage.
make sure that their rights are protected as well.
Hmm.
All of those.
Yep. All those things. All those things. So hopefully the discussions go well,
Yeah.
and that everyone can walk away happy and get back to doing the things that they love to do. Um, but yeah, so March 29th, 2024, the push sucks, but it makes sense. Um, I know we're both really looking forward to this film.
Yeah,
So
I really liked Afterlife.
yeah, that was actually surprisingly
Good
really
movie.
good. That's one of those ones where, the revisit went really
It
well.
did.
Like this requel or whatever you want to call them. Like this was one of the ones that actually went
I loved
really
it.
good.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for this. Let us know down in the comments how excited are you for the sequel to Ghostbusters Afterlife, now coming on March 29th, 2024. And with that, y'all, that includes our news section. And now we're going to get into the main topic of today's podcast, and that is Blumhouse quality on a downward trend. All right, y'all. Now, this is a very interesting topic, and we picked this one because we just recently had the Exorcist Believer trailer. Just came out recently, and there was a lot of different like talk about how good or how not good it looked, and then just like all the other films that have been coming out this year as well as last year too. And it just kind of got me thinking, like looking at the Blumhouse track record, like, are we seeing a downward trend in the overall quality of the films that they're putting out? Not saying that everything they put out is bad, but in a majority sense, are we seeing the decline of the quality of Blumhouse movies? I'll let you go first to see what you think overall. Then we kind of dig into the deep.
Overall, I'm gonna say
Okay.
I feel like they're just like any other studio. Have some good, some bad. I think overall, House has done well. They put out some good movies, and I mean, if you look at other larger production companies. We
Hmm.
don't love everything they make. Um, so I'm gonna say I don't think their quality is dropping. I just think that there's some bad movies. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the other side. I think their quality is going down. That's not to say they don't have some movies that are good. I think overall, I feel like they are becoming this like almost like a factory, right? Where like everything is like very samey, and it's almost like a production factory. Like they're just pumping out these movies, and I think it's inevitable when you're becoming like such a large studio. You have so much money under your belt because these movies are giving them and Universal just so much profit that naturally they're like, well, just keep pumping shit out. And so you naturally, with the growth of something like that, you're going to have misses.
Yeah.
Um, I think overall, even in their mainstream franchises, we're seeing a decline quality. Now, I know we put together some notes here about Blumhouse production itself. I'm going to actually pull something up on another tab, but why don't you go ahead and read off some of the notes that we have for Blumhouse?
Yeah. Well, I was just doing some basic research about how they kind of got started and whatnot. Um, known Blumhouse to always kind of like be the forefront of modern horror cinema. They're known to make high quality films with a micro budget. Like, that's their shtick. Try to make
Mhm.
really good movies for a very, very low, um, cost. According to an article I read on New York Times, that's his formula. It's like looking for movies that he likes and doing them on a low budget. Whereas, larger studios, like, people that make like Marvel films or whatever, they spend more money, make more.
Yep.
They are the opposite. They spend as much like small as possible to at least break even on their films. That's one of the things I saw in one of his interviews. Like, if he doesn't believe he can break even it, but if he feels he can, then he will. Um, yeah, so that was I started. He made a few like regular like dramas, films way, way back in the day. And then first horror film was Paranormal Activity.
Yep.
And from there he was like, "Oh, I really love horror movies." So that's kind of where he kind of like started to go after that. Um, he wanted to make films according to IMDb that were fun, scary, and um, Paranormal Activity is kind of what made him fall in love with horror. And yeah, it all started.
Yeah, thanks for that. Thanks for that rundown. But because some people might not know that that's how it started. Because I know initially I didn't even know that Paranormal Activity that Jason Blum worked on it. Like I did not know that.
Yeah.
Um,
Now Paramount took over, and
mhm,
that's why he started production.
yep. Yeah, so that was a really cool tidbit of information. So what we also wanted to do was like look at some of the films from like kind of the beginning of like the Blumhouse studio, and then look at the films that are out now, and kind of like compare and contrast like how good things were back in the day
Yeah.
versus kind of what we're getting now, and to kind of see if there is like an overall like drop in quality a little bit. So if we and I got a list pulled up here, y'all, on the computer, and we'll go back to around the time of Paranormal Activity. So we go back to like that those early stages of Blumhouse. We got Paranormal Activity in 2009, and then we got in 2010 we got. I'm only gonna name like the big ones that are like super recognizable. Paranormal Activity 2, Insidious, Paranormal Activity 3, Sinister, Paranormal Activity 4, The Bay, Dark Skies, The Lords of Salem, which I didn't really like that one. The Purge, Insidious Chapter 2, Oculus. Now I'm reading the whole list of 2010s right now, so we're all the way up to like 2014. I started with 2009.
Didn't like the marked one.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I skipped right over that. Yeah, Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. That was in 2014. Oculus, The Purge, Anarchy. Oh wow, they produced this.
No, did he produce it or executive? Some stuff he.
Oh wow, okay. Because I'm looking at a list right here, and it looks like Blumhouse had some involvement in Whiplash, like which is crazy. That film's amazing. But keeping it horror, we got Ouija, that first one. Then we got the Lazarus Effect starting 2015. We also got Unfriended in 2015. I really like that one. Air 51, 2015. Insidious Chapter 3. Creep, The Gallows. Sinister 2. The Visit, The Green Inferno. Paranormal Activity, Ghost Dimension. I think the Martyrs remake that started off 2016. We also got Hush in 2016. The Darkness, Purge Election Year, Ouija Origin of Evil. This is a good one. And that's another Mike Flanagan one. Mike Flanagan also did Oculus. We also got Incarnate, Split, Get Out, The Belko Experiment, Happy Death Day, and I'm jumping into 2017 right now. Creep 2, and that's just like what, a 7-year span with some some decent ones like in there. Let me fast forward a little bit here, and we'll go over like the last. Wait, what would you say? Last 2 to 3 years. Let's start with 2021. So we had the Forever Purge. I don't even know. Did you watch this one?
No.
I think I skipped this
The
one
last
too.
one I watched was
Yeah, I think I skipped this one too. I was kind of like, kind of over it at this point. And I don't even think this one. I can't remember how well that one reviewed. Um, we also got in 2021.
Halloween Kills.
Yep, Halloween
Blackest
Kills,
Night. But I heard that one was. I think that was also Nick.
like actual, yeah, Halloween Kills, which was awful. Paranormal Activity: Next of Kin, which was super mediocre. Um, let's see what else we got here. 2021. Are you familiar with any of these films? Like House on the Bayou? I don't think I watched that. That's one of those streaming films, I think. Not familiar with Hurt. No idea what that is. We'll jump into 2022. We got that Firestarter remake, which I skipped that. Did you
Yeah.
watch that one? Yeah, no, I heard that one was terrible. Dash Cam. That's another Rob Savage one. I actually heard like okay things about this. I actually hadn't seen this one yet. The Black Phone. That one was pretty good. Plus we got Halloween Ends 2022. Another terrible one. That Soft and Quiet movie that we watched. That was a strange one. That was also in 2022. Then we started off this year. We got Megan, which it's kind of whatever. It's like mediocre. Yeah. Let's see. We got those MGM Plus films. Now we just watched one recently, Unseen. That was actually really good.
I like that one.
Yeah, that was really well done. We didn't watch
really good. It was good.
Oh, really? I thought that was actually really good.
I thought it was good.
There was another one that was put out called "There's Something Wrong with the Children," but we haven't watched that one yet. Then we had Insidious: The Red Door, which I thought was terrible.
It was good.
Yeah. Now they just recently literally dropping this week The Passenger.
I heard that was good.
Oh, really? I've heard mixed things.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I heard it was good though.
And then we got The Exorcist Believer coming out October 13th. That trailer looks mediocre. And there's a lot of people who also think that it looks terrible. And then you got Five Nights at Freddy's coming out October 27th. And honestly, that looks just like another Megan with that kind of PG-13 horror comedy aspect. So I'm kind of like, I'm going to watch it, give it its chance, but I'm just kind of like, I don't know. So I don't know. We named a bunch of different films, and I don't know. When I'm looking at the overall track record, like naturally, just because I guess they gotten so much bigger, they've pumped out a lot of this mediocre stuff, even to the point where their main franchises that got them started, Paranormal Activity, Insidious, are putting out, they're super mediocre. Even the original IP stuff like Megan is super mediocre. And then you look at trailers and then you look at all the Halloween trilogy. Now the first one was okay.
Yeah.
But the next two Halloween of that new trilogy, terrible. And so I don't know. I feel like they're becoming this it's almost like they got like a template, right? Like we're gonna make a horror movie. Here's this. What kind of horror movie is it? Oh, it deals with possession. Okay, here's the Blumhouse template.
Oh my goodness.
You just put your characters in, make sure you hit these points, and we put it out.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
I don't know if it's that bad.
I don't know.
I think, like I said earlier, I mean, I think they obviously have had some misses, but I think the big picture, I mean, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
They've seen have pumped out a shit ton of films.
Yep.
Like some of these years has been like what a film every 3 months?
Every couple months.
So, yeah. So I mean, I get
Mhm.
what you're saying. I do understand where you're coming from, but I mean, I liked Insidious. I didn't think that was a bad movie.
Red Door. Come on now.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty good.
Terrible.
Oh, and like you said, I liked Unseen. That was pretty good. obviously I didn't like Soft and Quiet. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I see what you're saying, but,
Mhm.
I also think that what I'm saying is
Yeah, and the thing too, man, I'm starting to feel like, because if you look at stuff like, uh and I'll even use other studios, right? Like New Line Cinema and Warner Brothers and, their Conjuring franchise. And, like, when you compare it, right, like, even that has gone down the path of, like, template, you know what I'm saying? It's almost like
Well, I
Blumhouse
honestly feel like
set this tone of, like, here's the templates, and everyone's just kind of running now the whole industry's running with these templates.
yeah, I
Um
was about to say, I don't even think that is specific to house. I just think in general, um, for a movie, but I would say like on a larger scale,
Mm,
mostly I say some indie do a better job with horror than some of these big studios.
yeah,
Um, it almost becomes like a cash grab, and like a note I put down there, like watered down horror movies,
yeah,
very
they are.
like some of the previous Blumhouse films. If you're talking about Blumhouse rated R movie, and like
Mhm.
um, it's funny because one of the videos I watched, James Wan with uh, it-
Like a recent one or
no, like early on, it might have been in City. I don't know. Forgot which movie it was now, but when he came to him, he specifically said, because before then, their horror movies were like rated R.
Mhm.
So, I mean, I think in general, horror movies have kind of just like come a little bit more watered down in general. Not
Yeah.
They don't really like push that envelope.
Yeah, they don't really push nothing. It's not
Yeah,
even, and specifically speaking to Blumhouse, like, I feel like it's getting to this point where, like, their horror movies just aren't even scary anymore.
yeah.
Like, even if we just go to the last few that came out recently, right? Like, the last Blumhouse we got was Insidious: The Red Door. That wasn't even scary. The MGM Plus movie Unseen wasn't scary. It was fun. Wasn't scary though.
Oh,
Megan, not scary, like, even in the slightest. Uh, Soft and Quiet. I won't. That was a different
obviously,
kind
yeah,
of. It
different kind of
was a
movie,
different
but
kind of
yeah,
horror, but yeah, it wasn't like scary. Halloween Ends definitely not scary.
yeah.
What else we got?
Black Phone,
Black Phone was like,
not scary.
yeah, not really. It was the theme that it deals with was scary, but the movie itself, it wasn't scary. But, like, think about that, right? Like, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
Like, the Firestarter remake is terrible, so I'm assuming it wasn't scary. So that's crazy, right? Like, all these different horror films from the studio,
yeah,
horror films, not scary.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And
Well, I think what the telltale signs for us is The Exorcist,
mhm,
because if they water that down, then I would probably
yeah,
because
yeah,
you can't really water down The Exorcist.
and I feel like they might. They
Well,
might
we're gonna
water it
see.
down.
We're gonna see.
Yeah,
I think
there's my
honestly,
trailer now.
yeah, the trailer is not that great, guys.
Oh,
I don't know why people are like it's the best thing since sliced
it's
bread.
so bad and it's so
It,
cheesy.
yeah, it's
Like,
not.
that scene
There
where,
are some aspects of it that make it
yeah, very
not
few.
a good.
There's very few.
Very
Like,
few.
that scene where she's standing there in the bathroom, she just appears there
You
standing there.
always bring that scene up.
Did you
It's
say
like
something? I thought you said something. No, I didn't say nothing.
it was the you've been gone days. I was like,
Uh,
what?
Fighting the
And
blood.
then your heartbeats are beating.
And
You see,
sink. Yep.
obviously we can hear
Yep.
that their
Mhm.
heartbeats are beating.
Yep.
Yeah, but I actually saw on TikTok where people were comparing Blumhouse to A24. And then a couple Reddit threads I read also
Mhm.
were comparing them to other production companies like IFC, Midnight, and Non, as well as A24. And one of the things that they talked about was that um, different conversations having was that these are like different style of production companies
Yeah.
where Blumhouse, kind of know them for like stuff that appeals to everybody most.
Yep.
And studios like A24 are much more or however you say it.
Yep.
and, and they kind of focus more on the way, like the atmosphere, cinematography, the way things look, the way things feel.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of agree with that, especially after we just watched Talk to Me. Because I think that's most recent. Yeah, the only horror film they've put out this year, right? A24.
I think so.
But anyways, like I feel like watching that movie, you can see that there was a lot more emphasis on the atmosphere, the tone, like the overarching themes of the film versus the horror.
Which is why, Danny and Michael wanted to get it with A24 because it matches
their whole aesthetic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think, I was going to say Beau's Afraid. I don't think that's necessarily horror.
Oh, yeah.
I think aspects of it
were talking
fall
about
under it.
It's horror,
but
though. Yeah, I didn't watch that movie, though.
I haven't seen it yet either.
But yeah, so, they have their own style when it comes to horror. Some of the other movies that were listed were The Witch.
Yeah.
It's got some horror elements, but the emphasis isn't. And I feel like Blumhouse, that's what they kind of started out with, like trying to make genuinely scary movies.
Yep.
And I can see how you feel like they kind of gone away from
Yeah, they've gone way far away from that. Because you look at their early catalog, like their scariest movies are still in the early days of their studio, which is super sad and unfortunate, especially when you got an Exorcist movie about to drop from them. Like, in reality, the Exorcist believer should end up being in a correct universe, right? Like the Exorcist believer should end up being their scariest movie they ever made.
Yeah, it should be.
It should be, but I guarantee it won't. It'll be super cheesy.
We're gonna see.
I don't know. Yeah, we'll see, y'all. This brings up another discussion that we won't have on this podcast. Maybe this will be something we talk about in a future podcast, and maybe something that y'all might want to discuss down in the comments. But that's the idea of like these franchises going to other studios, right? So imagine this: what if The Exorcist, like the IP of The Exorcist, went to A24, and we're getting a new Exorcist trilogy from A24? That had the potential to be fucking crazy.
I don't know.
What? They could, because they would go crazy. They go stupid dumb with it.
I don't know.
They would go ham with it. Think about
I
Talk
like
to Me, right?
A24. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if their vibe
it would
meshes well with it.
Oh, yes, it does.
You think so?
Yeah, because look at Talk to Me, right? Like they wanted to get Talk to Me under the thing. Now, I don't think Talk to Me was a perfect movie, but I will admit that it had its moments.
Yeah, it had its moments.
I think about some of those really gritty moments.
Also fits A24.
Yeah, think about The Exorcist. It would fit.
Oh,
that like visceral, like we will allow you to push the edge creatively. I feel like A24 was the only only studio you would do
whoever does The Exorcist has to push it creatively.
They not though,
and
not at Blumhouse.
They might. Maybe they'll tap into their earlier Paranormal Activity, their earlier first Sinister #1, their first. They're not gonna do it. Their earlier. They'll tap into that, and maybe they'll actually have Jason Blum a little bit more involved. Because I was when I was reading, I didn't realize how involved he was in some of those earlier films. Like even with Get Out, like he didn't like the original ending of it, and he's like, Jordan, you got this.
Really?
I think originally Daniel Kaluuya's character was going to go to jail. He was like, "Oh no, you can't do that."
Oh yeah, I don't think that would have been fun.
Yeah. But, maybe they'll be like, okay, maybe it'll be better. Maybe they'll tap into those.
I don't know.
Those things. I don't know either.
But look, y'all, that's kind of where we stand on it right now. But we want to know what y'all think. Do y'all think that the quality of Blumhouse films is dropping? It's degrading, or do you think that it's the same, or do you think it's even better? Let us know down in the comments what you think about Blumhouse, and answer some of the questions we posed too. Like, does Blumhouse have any of the franchises that you'd want to see to go to a different studio, and how would they handle it at another studio, like The Exorcist maybe on A24, and how would that film have looked over there? And then, drop down some of your favorite Blumhouse movies. Like, drop all that stuff in the comments. We'd love to have that discussion with y'all down below. But that, y'all, brings us to the end of this podcast. If you made it this far, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the whole entire thing. Make sure that y'all are subscribed and following us on YouTube and all of our social channels like TikTok, Twitter or X, wherever the fuck they're calling it, Facebook, Instagram. Follow us on everything, y'all, and make sure you're following us on either Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen to those our podcasts at. Make sure you leave us a review too. Drop a rating, drop us a review because that gets us that visibility. And just let us know what y'all think. But again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. This has been the In Love with Horror podcast, and we see you on the next one. Peace.